He committed somewhere else already.
Okay.
But he posted on his Instagram a picture of him in Dalvin Cook's uniform, which is Florida State's old running back. And it's like sent pictures of him in Florida State uniforms. And then it got taken down like immediately. Mm-hmm. Which makes it look like he's going to mess around and go to Florida State, but Florida State doesn't want everybody to know that yet.
I know we missed an episode last week. Technical difficulties arose. Scheduling difficulties arose. Shit happens. But we're probably going to have a longer episode this week because we do have some stuff to catch up on. Anyways, where would you like to start?
I think most of the football news is
null and void.
Kind of undone by this week.
Yeah.
So we can just start off with WWE. That way, because the news is going to be, we have to cover 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Let me start with, previous to what would have been our last episode, Becky Lynch came back.
Yes.
The redhead Irish lass kicker.
Yeah.
Very excited. She went out with injury after SummerSlam and came back to be the 5th woman in the Women's War Games match. And very excited that she's back. Hopefully she gets to challenge for one of the women's titles soon, because I think
Ronda Rousey and
Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair, okay.
And then, previous to this, what would have been this episode, Tegan Nox debuted in WWE.
Okay.
She was in NXT for a while, and she came to Emma's aid after Emma's match with Shayna Baszler.
Okay.
On SmackDown. So both of them are back, or well, one of them is back, one of them has debuted in WWE, and I'm very excited to see where they go. Other than that, Survivor Series.
I loved it. I loved the main event match.
Okay. I agree with you there. The Women's War Game match was a really good way to get
the hype up.
Number one, the hype up. Number two, to get Rhea Ripley and Mia Kim out of the picture for the OC or for the AJ Styles Finn Balor match.
Okay, yeah.
Because you needed them to not be in the way so that they couldn't interfere.
Yeah. And
having their match right before that was a good way to do that. Other than that, I mean, it didn't really matter at all. Like, there was no real story behind it, other than Damage Control versus Bianca and her band of misfit toys.
It bothers me so much there wasn't a name for that, by the way. Like, you just had to list off the 5 names and call it a day.
Yeah. So it was a good way to get that out of the way. And then you had the AJ Styles versus Finn Balor.
Loved that match.
And they finally ended it without interference. Like, Dominic tore AJ off the ring apron.
Yeah.
But immediately, Gallows and Anderson came in and just beat the...
Got it.
Dude, Anderson knocked Dominic into the next fucking zip code. And then Dominic and Priest and Anderson and Gallows all went off into the crowd.
Yeah.
And AJ and Finn got to have their
Finn
match.
And AJ finished the match. AJ won that match, right?
Yes, he gave Finn a phenomenal forearm. Mm. And then you had the women's title match. The SmackDown women's title match. I really don't care. We're going to get to that in a minute.
Ronda
kept it. We're going to get to part of the reason that I don't care in a minute. What was next? The triple threat for the U.S. title.
Yes.
Austin Theory won off of Bobby Lashley's spear. So what happened there was Bobby Lashley speared Theory, who had Seth up for the A-Town down.
Yes.
And Seth fell down and Theory fell on top of Seth.
And got the
3 count, yes.
Yeah.
I really wish they would have kept it. I really wish they would have kept it on Seth.
I mean, I definitely understand that. I think Theory was the worst pick of the 3 to get it.
Agreed.
Like, I know you don't love Bobby Lashley. I like him. But I think story-wise, Seth freaking Rollins should have kept it.
And that was the first time since he had the tag team titles during the pandemic that Seth had a title.
Okay.
And he had it for like 2 weeks.
And then Theory took it.
And then dropped it to Theory. Seth, in my opinion, and I think this is a rather widely held opinion, is the best wrestler of our age.
Okay.
He is at least in the top 3 for most people.
All right.
For me, he is the greatest wrestler of our generation.
What do you consider our generation? Like,
had their prime post WrestleMania 28.
Okay.
So, like, not The Rock.
Yeah, after that generation.
John Cena is kind of on the edge.
Mm-hmm. He's in the gray area between the two?
Yeah, because he debuted in 2002.
He debuted before we were born.
Yeah. He debuted in either 02 or 04, one of the two, but still right around when we were born. But his prime didn't really come until that WrestleMania 27-28 era.
Yeah.
That was when he went back-to-back main events with The Rock. It was 27-28, or 28-29, sorry.
Okay.
But anyway. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins debuted in 2012-13.
All right.
12-13-14. Somewhere in that 3-year span was when Seth debuted with The Shield. So he's definitely our generation.
That makes sense. Okay. And you think it's unfair?
I think it's unfair that he doesn't get any titles. And he's... Like, if you look at when superstars come up, they challenge one of 3 people as their first feud. They either go to Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, or The Miz. And it's because all of those 3 people, does not matter how good the wrestler is, can make that wrestler look great in a match.
Yes, they're all great showmen.
Like, for the past couple WrestleManias, The Miz has been getting the celebrity...
The celebrity fight?
The celebrity fight. Like, he had Bad Bunny at last year's, and then this year's he had Logan Paul.
Okay.
And it's because, while those celebrities may not be... Like, they could be good fighters and they could be good showmen, but they're not going to be great wrestlers. The Miz can make them look amazing.
Because he's that well experienced.
Yes. And I think Seth is on that.
That kind of level?
Yeah. So I'm sad that they took the title off of him, but I'm excited to see where it goes, especially because on Raw this past week, he, like, stood up in Theory's face.
And called him a kid.
Yeah. That was great.
I loved that part of Raw.
And then the main event was the War Games match, which I was actually okay with. But I want to hear your opinion on it first.
I think they did a great job setting it up. Like, they've been setting it up for a while.
Yeah.
Great job with the setup. And how it played out, I liked. Kevin Owens is becoming one of the ones I like a lot.
Okay.
And the whole relationship with Sammy and the bloodline, it was very well executed.
That's a real relationship. Like, they've been friends since...
For a long time.
Before they were in NXT.
Do you know... Listen, I like it so much so that whenever, like, they did the thing on Raw, it genuinely, like, made my heart hurt a little bit, because I was like, oh, that kind of blew... Like, because I can see, like, some...
Yeah.
I can see that happening in real life. Not, like, I'm not saying it happened in real life, but I've seen that happen
They
before.
still are, like, best friends. Like, they both, like, love the storyline that they're in.
But I felt that. Like, But, yeah. I love War Games.
Okay. The number one thing, if you've watched any of the 2 episodes of this show previously where I've talked about WWE, you'll know that I hate the interference. However, in this match, it was done properly, because part of the thing with War Games is that you have to make sure that all other 4 members of the team that you're against are down. That way they cannot stop you getting the pinfall or the submission. Kevin Owens did not do that. He left Sami Zayn thinking that he was going to turn, and Sami Zayn stopped the count of the ref when he pinned Roman. So I'm okay with the interference there because it's part of, like, how the match is supposed to be done.
It was very well executed.
I am very surprised, however, that Kevin Owens took the spotlight, if you will, on that team.
Oh, the Brawling Brutes team?
Yeah, like, Sheamus is a cemented WWE superstar.
Yeah.
He's main evented WrestleMania. He's won the Royal Rumble. He's been Mr. Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre is on the up and up. Like, he's coming into his own with the...
You got some heavy hitters on the team.
And then you have Kevin Owens take the spotlight. But I'm okay with it, because I love KO. I think he should have a title push if it weren't for the fact that I want Cody to take the title.
Okay.
Like, the problem is that I think Cody should take the title off of Roman so much that I don't want KO to have a title push until after Cody has it.
Okay. And we're projecting that...
Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
Which is the next pay-per-view. There's not going to be one for December for whatever reason.
All right.
I don't know. Weird. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, the first entrant has been announced. It was on SmackDown. Kofi Kingston is definitely going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Which I know you don't know this.
Yep.
The beginning of Kofi Kingston's career was made out of Royal Rumble, like, spotlights.
Okay.
He had 1 year that he almost got eliminated, but he jumped onto the barricade. The Royal Rumble, you have to go over the top rope, and both of your feet have to hit the floor.
Yes.
So 1 year, he jumped onto the barricade and jumped back to the ring.
So he didn't touch the floor?
He didn't touch the floor. Another year, he used one of the announcer's chairs as a pogo stick. Like, the way he landed on the announce table, and then used one of the announcer's chairs as a pogo stick back to the ring. Another year, there was this wrestler at the time, Adam Rose, who came out with, like, a bunch of groupies, and they were still standing at ringside when Kofi got thrown over the top rope. He landed on them and crowd surfed back to the ring.
So he's made a very big mark about... Okay,
Another time, after he was in the New Day, he landed on Big E's shoulders
So
when he came out of the when he came.
He's made a career out of WrestleMania.
Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble, sorry.
He has those Royal Rumble moments, and they're always cool and fun and exciting.
So, him being there isn't a surprise?
No.
Okay.
And I think that's it for Survivor Series as far as I know.
Yeah, overall, very enjoyable. This was my first pay-per-view. I mean, I watched Crown Jewel, but I watched it like 2 weeks after it happened. Mm-hmm. This is my first one watching with a lead-up.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I'm upset that there's no December one for you to watch. Like, the next one is going to be Royal Rumble.
So it's going to be a fat minute.
It's going to be a fat minute, and there's going to be a lot of build-up because it's one of the big four.
Yeah, we're going to have...
You're going back-to-back big four.
Yeah. So I'm going to have 4 months of, like, just building up what's happening.
It'll only be... It's in January. It'll be towards the end of January.
Okay.
Yeah. However, I do want to talk about this. I think they're undoing the brand split.
The Raw SmackDown?
Raw SmackDown.
Okay.
They've done it a couple of times where the most prominent one in my memory is post WrestleMania 29, before WrestleMania 30. In that year gap, you had the WWE Championship on Raw and the World Heavyweight title on SmackDown. They unified them, and Randy Orton won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, so they unified it and Randy Orton...
And undid the brand split.
Yeah, there was no, like, 2 different belts to get. It was just one thing. You think they're
I think they're
on that?
going back to that.
What makes you think that?
Number one, Roman holds both titles. So if they want to unify them, it's very easy.
It's very easy because it's just like, oh, he's got the title.
The tag team titles are the same way. The Usos hold both of them.
Yeah.
And they're fighting for both of them.
Every time they go...
There's a match on Raw this week, actually tonight, that the... who's fighting them? Oh, Riddle and Elias are challenging for the tag titles, which I don't think they're winning, but they're challenging for both of them.
Yeah.
So there's no 2 tag titles and there's no 2 world titles. There's also only 1 women's tag title. So the only title that's left with 2 belts is the women's world
Raw
title.
SmackDown.
And I think that this brings me into another part of my notes here. I don't think that the women's roster has enough talent to do 2 brands.
I agree.
Like, heavy hitters, you have Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, maybe Bianca Belair, maybe Bayley if they build her up a little bit more, and if she comes back, Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, the roster just isn't strong enough to sustain 2 titles.
So I think they should go back to 1. The problem with that is there are a lot of people who seem to be saying that Triple H is going to try and bring back, like, WWE Draft as a pay-per-view, which was a thing where the rosters got shuffled every once in a while.
Okay.
Which he could do, but I think that the rosters are not strong enough right now
to shuffle them around
and have 2 brands. I think that they need to go back to 1 for a while until they have...
And then beef up the roster, and then maybe do a split.
When they redid the brand split was right after the NXT Revolution, where people like Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, they had all just come up from NXT. So they had a lot more talent.
Roster. Like, you had a lot of people.
But you've had a lot of retirements. You have a lot of people who are, like, legends that don't only show up every once in a while, like Edge and Rey. They don't have matches all the time.
Yeah.
So I think they need to
unify
go back
for a
down.
little while.
Yeah. And if they want to bring it back after a while, that's fine. And then the other thing I have there... I was realizing when I was watching Raw and SmackDown for this week, there are a lot of people who could make a title push if Roman wasn't the champion.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Owens.
Completely could.
The Miz.
Yeah.
Sheamus. Drew McIntyre.
The story for a lot of people could totally go for that push if it wasn't so well established that Roman Reigns had it.
Edge and Rey can always go for another title push,
yes.
as can Randy. So, there are a lot of people who could make it if Roman wasn't the champion right now.
Yeah, but you have this, like, such a solidified concrete, like, he is...
And he's unbeatable.
Yeah, that's the whole story. So you need to have something happen where...
He can be
not just any random person can go... Yeah.
Like, or if they're going to have it be any random person, it needs to be a new random person.
Yeah, like somebody's like, this guy's on the come up, he's got it.
Cough, cough, Cody Rhodes.
How'd you feel if they had Austin Theory go up and do it?
I would kill myself. I would stop watching WWE for a good while.
A minute?
I hate Austin Theory. But anyways, I think that's all I have for WWE. Do you have anything else?
I don't like Dominic Mysterio. But I feel like that's... Dude, just every match he's a wuss. Like, there's nothing redeemable.
I liked the OC versus Judgment Day match on Raw.
I liked the match, but, dude, it's like every time he gets tagged in, it's one blow, tag out.
I mean...
They just portray him as such a wuss, and I feel like it's kind of...
That's kind of what his character is right now.
I know, but I hate that. Like, I hate that wuss character.
Okay. Well, I think... I don't know.
I'm sure they're going to... I'm positive they're going to alter it.
Also,
he's going to have a hero arc.
It was on SmackDown. Karrion Kross is coming after Ray. So, we'll see where that goes.
Okay. But anyway,
what do you want to do next?
Well, there's a lot of news in NCAA.
In NCAA, that's where we want to go.
Yes.
The playoffs are seeded.
Yes, we have a confirmed playoffs. It's
Georgia 1.
Georgia 1.
Michigan 2.
Yes.
TCU 3. Ohio State 4.
So we're going to have Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU.
Yes. I don't like this.
I mean, I don't think it matters. I think this was a Georgia-Michigan national championship for the start.
Yes, but there was more that you could have done. I think my personal playoff seedings would have been number 1, Michigan, number 2, Georgia,
okay,
number 3, Bama, number 4, Ohio State.
That would have...
So you have basically an SEC Big Ten Invitational.
Yeah.
And you have a Michigan-Ohio State rematch and a Georgia-Bama rematch from last year. And then the winner of those two goes head-to-head. It probably still would have been Georgia-Michigan, but it would have been a lot more... Like, there is no doubt in my mind that Michigan is going to shit-stomp TCU.
It's not even going to be fun to watch. It's going to be, like, hanging 50 on them.
Yeah. Georgia-Ohio State might... Ohio State might have a chance in, like, the first half.
Yeah, no, this was...
But if Georgia gets away from them, they get away from them.
Both games, we're going to be watching the first half, and we're like, oh, this is a close game. We go to halftime, we're like, all right, this is a great game. And then the second half's just going to be terrible to watch.
If... The only way I can see Ohio State winning is if they keep up with Georgia. But if Georgia gets away from them, forget it.
It's not happening. I think Georgia has this on lock.
So, I'm a little upset with it. I would have preferred to see those 4 in the playoffs, but it is what it is.
I can understand why TCU's there, you know.
I understand why TCU's there. I just think that...
They are not as good a team as anybody else.
And I think that they're going to get shit-stomped, and it's not going to be fun to watch.
No, it's going to be like Michigan gets a free step up.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I think Georgia's going to have a pretty easy time, too.
I don't know. I think Michigan might be able to give them a run for their money.
Maybe. But I think it's not going to be easy. Michigan's going to have to really get things done. And they're out. I think they don't have their quarterback right now.
They do.
They do?
He's in the transfer portal, but I assume he's still going to play till the end. Because my attitude with that is, like... The only reason I see him entering the transfer portal... The only reason I see him entering the transfer portal instead of the draft is, like, I want to step up my reputation before I do. Because he's beaten Ohio State twice.
Yeah.
And is now in the playoffs. And probably going to get to the finals of the playoffs.
Yes.
So...
Almost securely getting to the actual national championship.
I think he's going to play his heart out. Because if he wins... If he beats Ohio State twice, gets to the playoffs once... and wins a national championship once, and then does whatever he does next season and goes to the draft, he's almost a lock for the first round pick.
He's going to be one of the first ones out.
Yeah. Meanwhile, now he has to compete with C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, maybe Stetson Bennett, maybe Hendon Hooker.
He's got a long roster to try to get a competition with.
So there are 3 bowl games I want to talk about.
Okay.
Number 1, the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yes.
Is FSU and Oklahoma.
Listen, I'm going to be very, very cautious when I say this.
Uh-huh.
Florida State should win this game.
Okay.
They should.
Okay.
And I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to hope that they do their thing and win the game. But I don't want to be a little too cocky, because when I'm too cocky, it's never good. But they should they should have their first 10-win season in a while, and it shouldn't be too difficult.
Okay. And then UF is going to face Oregon State in the Vegas Bowl.
I think UF's going to get stomped.
By Oregon State, really?
Yes. Oregon State's not a bad team.
Oregon State's biggest win is versus Oregon, though.
And Oregon's not a bad team. I think the reason Florida did so well against Florida State was because it was a rivalry.
Oregon also got shit stomped by Georgia week 1. I just want to throw that out there.
But I think Georgia's a different monster.
Okay. And then the last one I want to talk about, just because the college football, NCAA, whatever you want to call them, has the chance to do something amazing here, and they probably won't. Clemson is going to play Tennessee in the Orange Bowl.
We have the two most prominent orange teams.
And both teams' home jersey is bright orange. Please, God, let them both wear their home jerseys in this game.
Just to be bright orange.
And just to be bright orange in the Orange Bowl, I would love it. It would be great.
It'd be a little chaotic, but...
They're different oranges. Tennessee's is lighter than Clemson's.
Yeah, but it's pretty close.
It'd still be so much fun to just watch all this orange run around the orange.
That's probably going to be the best...
Not New Year's Six bowl game?
Yeah, like it's going to be the best national championship game.
Okay.
I think Tennessee's going to have it heavy-handedly to win, though, but...
Maybe.
I don't think
they also
Clemson's
get
that great.
fucking shit-stomped by South Carolina.
That's true.
And South Carolina beat Clemson, so...
I think Clemson's not that great.
We'll see. Did they win the ACC?
Like by 40 points. Like a crazy amount.
Okay, I didn't watch that game. Who do you think wins the Heisman?
I think Stetson Bennett has a great reputation to win it. But
I don't
like you were saying, here, explain your point, because it's a valid point.
Stetson Bennett is now 25 years old, throwing up against 18, 19, 20-year-old D-backs. Yeah, he's gonna put the fucking ball where it needs to be. He's been playing this game for at least 10 years. He has
much more experience than everybody else on the field.
Yeah. So, no shit he's gonna be a great quarterback.
But it's one of those things where it's like, he's been doing so well for so long. I feel like he deserves the recognition.
He has the recognition. He has a fucking national championship.
He's probably going to get a second one, too.
And he has now an SEC championship. So, I don't
Who do you think?
I think Max Duggan deserves it. Okay. I watched the Big 12 game. That man put his heart, soul, and tears out on that field. He had a drive where he ran like 5 or 6 plays in a row, and he ran. Yeah. Like, quarterback
draws, sneaks, whatever
Thank you. Call. Not sneaks, draws. Quarterback draws, like, 40, 50 yards up the field.
Yeah, he was putting it out.
And when he ran it in for the touchdown, when he scored that touchdown, he was on his hands and knees crying in the end zone. Got back up, ran through the 2-point conversion, and then had to be helped off the field because he collapsed again after the 2-point conversion.
Listen, if there's somebody who's an underdog and deserves it, it's that man. He's one of the key factors, the reason
TCU is so
TCU
good.
is even remotely on the field.
Yeah.
And he's been putting his heart and soul in the game. I agree. If I could have anybody win it, it'd be him, because I don't think he's going to win it because it's TCU, but he deserves it.
Yeah. The only other two I can see getting it are Blake Corum, if they want to be fancy with it. Yeah. And Caleb Williams, if a lot of voting was done before the Pac-12 game.
I can see those. But I really hope TCU's quarterback gets it.
Me too. All right. That's all I have for college football. What do you got for college football?
Not a lot. I think we're rounding out. I think last week we were going to talk about how messy the playoffs were, and
then
this
now
week
they're just the playoffs.
It was completely cleared up. Like, it was just, we're like, oh, USC, Ohio State, what's going to happen? And it's just, no, we're done.
Do you think Tennessee should have been above Bama?
No, only because of
the fact that they got blown the hell out by South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, Bama has lost by, 3 points cumulative?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
And it was all last... Like, Bama is
both of them were last plays of the drive. Or last plays of the game.
Bama's a great team. And they are better than Tennessee. I think Tennessee barely edged them out, but I think they're better than Tennessee.
There are a lot of people, like, online who are like, why is Bama ahead of Tennessee? We beat them. Yeah, then you got 30-something fucking points dropped on you by South Carolina. Yeah. Bama didn't do that.
Florida State beat LSU, and LSU's way above Florida. Yeah. Florida State. Like, there's a point where heads-up matches don't matter if the rest of your record shows that you're not a great team.
Yeah. Whatever. It is what it is. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Doesn't matter for either of them because they're not in the top 4.
But I can't wait to see. This is going to be a long time away. The beginning of next season, because we're losing a lot of high level players.
In general or FSU?
No, just in the
in
top
general.
15 teams. We're losing a lot of high level players to the draft.
You think Georgia's going to be as good next year?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think a lot of their defense is seniors.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have made it to where the second strings have been so keen and just will fill.
Did they have second
spots.
strings in against LSU?
I'm sure they didn't later in the game.
Because I know they went for the 2-point conversion just to
hang 50 on them.
Yeah,
I love that so much. Listen, I was watching the game and it was it was 48 to some low, maybe 21.
Yeah, I think so. I know it ended 50-30.
And I was like, okay.
So it must have been 22.
I was like, yeah, they're gonna do the PAT, whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw the lineup to go for. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna do this just to hang 50, and they did, and they got it, and I cheered when they got it. It made me so happy that they just.
Although
you know
I really wanted LSU to
50.
win that game.
Yeah, I wanted every championship to be an upset.
Except the Big Ten. I wanted Michigan to win the Big Ten.
I wasn't concerned about Michigan.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
Michigan played Purdue, who wasn't even ranked. Was it the only team in a... I think it might have been the only team in a conference championship that wasn't ranked.
Yeah, even the...
Because USC and Utah were...
even the All-American Conference, it was still a UCF versus
Tulane,
which were both ranked.
That's rough.
Yeah. Clemson, UNC were both ranked. Yeah, I think it was the only unranked one was Purdue.
Okay, that's rough.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, NFL time? NFL time. Okay, the Cowboys had a game against the Colts this past week. And going into the fourth quarter, it was 21-19.
Yes.
The final score of that game was, I think, 53-19, 54-19.
It was something embarrassing for the Colts.
The Colts got at least 20 points dropped on them. At least 30 points dropped on them in the fourth quarter.
It was embarrassing. Because I was watching the commentary and they were like, oh, it's a close game, it's a great game.
And then it wasn't.
Fourth quarter came and it was no longer a fun game to watch.
Matt Ryan threw 3 or 4 interceptions and fumbled at least twice.
The turnovers in that game were insane. Both teams were right up into the end of the first half.
Yep.
It was back and forth interceptions.
It confuses me how the Colts were that good until they weren't. Because they were great and then they were not.
I think I want to see the Cowboys go to the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs.
I don't think so either. I think they...
Especially because they're going to be, the 3 seed in the NFC?
It's not going to be great.
Because there's no way they beat the Vikings or the Eagles, I don't think.
No.
Especially because I think they have to play the Eagles again. They're both NFC East.
Yeah, they will have to play the Eagles again. Is it this week?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Me neither.
But I definitely think Cowboys are getting to the playoffs, but...
And then not going very far.
Not past the first round, Yeah. That's how it's going to be.
And then the Niners beat the Dolphins in
Very
Mike McDaniel's homecoming game.
I thought that was very surprising.
I agree to a point.
Like we say, 49ers are always the team to mess it up for other people.
Do you think they're going to go to the playoffs?
You know what I think is going to happen?
What?
They're going to get wild card or first round playoffs and ruin it for every team that deserves it, and then probably losing the last one or just before the Super Bowl. They're going to beat all these teams that so much more deserve it, and then just fall apart against an actually good team toward the end.
What division are they? They got to be NFC West, right?
I believe so.
So Rams, Cardinals, somebody else. Seahawks. It's the
Seahawks.
They might win that division.
Yeah,
then.
they might.
It's either going to be them or Seattle.
Does anybody else have a winning record? I know the Rams don't.
I think Seattle does.
Seattle does?
I think so. Because Geno's been kind of popping off.
Okay.
But even if they don't win that division, they might get a wild card.
Yeah, I think
all 3 wild cards are tied up in the NFC East right now.
I think they're going to end up beating the Rams out, or the Seahawks out.
Okay. So you think they're going to the playoffs?
I do think they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah. Speaking of the Chiefs, they can't beat the fucking Bengals worth a shit.
Yeah.
They've played
Burrow
the Bengals.
owns them.
Yeah, they've played the Bengals 3 times since Patrick Mahomes came to the Chiefs and haven't beaten them any of them. This was also the first game that they've scored more than 24 or 27 points in of those 3.
Burrow is the man, especially against the Chiefs.
It's rough.
It's depressing. The same way that Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how bad either of those teams are, they can't win.
I really hope Rodgers just has a great rest of the season and then just retires.
Do you think he's going to retire, or do you think he's going to go somewhere else?
He's like
because he's a couple years younger than Brady.
He's 40. He's like...
That's 5 years younger than Brady.
Yeah, but Brady's Brady. You know, like... I mean, I could see him keep rocking it out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he needs to just, like, the next good season he gets...
What if he goes to, like, Detroit?
Dip.
Go to an in-conference rival. Or an in-division rival.
If he goes to Detroit, I think Detroit will be the team. Because Detroit, they whooped whoever they played, didn't they?
They didn't whoop them, but yeah. They also played... Who did they play? I remember looking at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. Oh, they played the Jags. That's why.
Oh, that makes sense. But yeah, I definitely think that it's... I don't know.
I hope he goes somewhere where he can like have weapons around him. All right, so
yeah,
let's just go through these because they're all sitting here in front of me now. Maybe. Good Lord. Okay, the Bills beat the Patriots on Thursday Night Football. I don't want to talk about it.
I mean...
The Commanders and the Giants tied. Before the game...
Oh my God. This bothered me so much.
Before the game, everybody was going on about how this is really important for the playoffs, like, because both of these teams are in the NFC East.
Yeah.
And it's like, whichever one of these teams wins is probably getting a wild card spot. And then they tied.
They said, guess what? You don't know, we don't know, nobody's going to know.
And then the Ravens beat the Broncos by 1.
Which is...
Deeply upsetting.
Deeply upsetting.
Also, you asked me earlier before we were recording if the Broncos scored a touchdown. I don't think so because it was 9-10. So unless they scored a touchdown at safety, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it was just
three field goals. Yeah. The Steelers beat the Falcons.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The Vikings beat the Jets. I know that's one where a lot of people wanted the Jets to win.
Yeah.
Because of Mike White coming in. Also, the Jets losing means the Patriots are still in a playoff race, so that makes me happy. The Browns beat the Texans.
Downfall for everybody else in the division.
Pretty much. The Browns
Miami
beat
lost
the...
too.
Yeah, Miami lost too, which means the Bills are tied for top of the division now. So that's upsetting. The Browns beat the Texans in Deshaun Watson's first game back and his homecoming game, which we'll talk about that in a minute because I have thoughts there.
How many games have the Texans won? 2?
1.
1?
10-1 because they tied the Colts.
Jesus.
Lions beat the Jags.
Yeah.
Packers beat the Bears. Yep. Eagles beat the Titans in A.J. Brown's homecoming game.
I would have said the Eagles would have won no matter what.
I mean, yeah. Seahawks beat the Rams. 49ers beat the Dolphins. The Seahawks only beat the Rams by 4. 27-23.
I'm telling you, the 49ers are the ones out of that division that's going to get it.
Oh, well, yeah, by a large shot there. Do the Cardinals have bye this week? They must. Yeah, okay. Bengals beat the Chiefs. We already talked about that.
Was it the Cardinals last year that went like undefeated for like 8 or 9 games?
Probably.
Or was that 2 years ago?
It was whatever year that... It was 2019.
Isn't it weird that we've had 2 teams in recent memory, and they were both bird teams that did that?
I mean, the Cardinals only didn't continue to go undefeated because Modern Warfare dropped. That was when that whole thing started because it was 2019. Raiders beat the Chargers. That was a really good game because it was either a playoff game or like the last game of the season last year that determined the Raiders and the Chargers getting into the playoffs. So I really like that game. The Raiders won, and then we already talked about the Colts fucking pouncing the Cowboys pouncing the Colts. And then the Bucs play the Saints tonight.
Let's go Bucs.
Regardless, after I watched the Browns-Texans game, Jacoby Brissett should get his job back. He should be the starter in Cleveland.
Listen, I feel like Cleveland is a little bit of a mess, and they're very close to not being a mess.
They have at least 2... They have one really good wide receiver, another decently good wide receiver in Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones. And then they have Nick Chubb, who's, a top 3 back in the league?
At least top 5. I think he might be top 3.
I know Derrick Henry is RB1.
I'm going to be real with you. I'm not sure. I think it changed this past weekend.
Okay, well, I think Derrick Henry is still RB1, but regardless...
If they get a consistently good quarterback.
Jacoby Brissett was that for them. And he fucking trained under Brady, so he's got what it takes.
Think they just stick with him and then it'll be sitting pretty?
Set up some defensive shit, set up some O-line shit, maybe get a decently good wide receiver 3 in the draft, or maybe someone to even take the wide receiver 2 spot. See what you can do.
Nick Chubb is 6.
Nick Chubb is 6?
Yes.
Is Derrick Henry 1?
I can only imagine. Yeah, ESPN says he's 4.
Who's 1?
I'm going to look it up. I was looking at our fantasy lab.
Oh, our fantasy league?
Yeah.
Check JT. He's on my bench.
I'm just going to look it up on ESPN.
Oh. Okay, and then the last point I have here... Oh, no, sorry, we have 2 more. Number 1, Lamar Jackson got hurt.
That's going to be detrimental.
To the Ravens?
Yes.
However, I think it bodes really well for Lamar.
What? That he gets a...
Because before the season, he wanted that fucking bag, and the Ravens were like, nah. And then he started balling out, and the Ravens were like, okay, maybe. And then he kind of stopped balling out, and the Ravens were like, nah.
So now they're going to see how bad the Ravens are.
They're going to see how bad the Ravens are without him, and they're going to be like, okay, we'll pay you.
You got this.
I'm sorry. And then my last point here, especially post the Chargers-Ravens game, do you think Herbert is a fraud?
A little bit, yeah. I'm not going to lie. Yes.
Okay.
Like, the story's great, but he's just not...
He's not doing it? This is his 3rd season in the league, and he's yet to make the playoffs?
Like, he's not terrible, but he's not, like... He's not noteworthy, you know?
The one thing I will say for him is he will never win that division because he's playing against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
There's no shot in my mind that he gets better than a wild card spot.
I think...
So that kind of works in his favor.
Yeah. If he, in a different division, in a different team, I think he...
I don't even know that he needs a different team. Just if the Chargers were in a different division, maybe.
Like, I think it's...
God forbid if the Chargers were AFC South, they'd be chilling.
Oh, he'd be in.
But the fact that he has to play Patrick Mahomes twice a year, and then has to try to win the division against Patrick Mahomes on top of that,
it's
kind of doesn't work out for him.
You're in a rough spot.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be tough no matter what.
Okay. So, what do you think about the playoffs after this week and last?
I mean, I still think it's NFC East.
You think it's just the NFC East division?
It's
or
them,
conference?
Them and the Eagles for the NFC. And then...
Okay.
I got to imagine it's just the Chiefs taking...
Just the Chiefs taking the AFC? You don't think the Dolphins have a shot?
I don't know. After this week, I'm not sure. I think the Chiefs have a pretty easy path. I'm not saying that they got it 100%, but I think they have an easy path.
Okay. I think the Dolphins... I think that's going to be the AFC Championship.
What?
Dolphins Chiefs.
I can see that.
I hope it's going to be Patriots somebody, but...
You should the Patriots get in, but we're not so sure about that one.
Listen, we're not terrible anymore.
No, you're not terrible. But
especially because we're still chilling in our division.
Yeah.
What is happening? My fucking laptop is stroking the hell out. Here we go. Okay. Sorry.
You're good.
Anyways, I hope that it's the Patriots in the AFC. I don't think it's going to be. So I think it's going to end up being Chiefs Dolphins in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
And then what did you say for NFC? I'm sorry.
I think the Eagles Eagles are going to be there. And as much as I don't, you can never count on Brady. You know?
Okay.
Like,
yeah. If he makes it to the playoffs,
there's a decent chance he's going all the way.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, no matter how bad the Bucs have been all year,
especially
if Brady gets to the playoffs, you can assume that there's a decent chance he goes to the Super Bowl every time.
Especially because there's no question in my mind that the Vikings are going to crumble in the playoffs like they always do.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are probably going to be the same way. So,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles end up crumbling in the playoffs.
It's one of those things where you have the Vikings and the Cowboys who are great during regular season, crumble in postseason.
Yep.
I think the Bucs should be the exact opposite.
Brady's just going to ball out during the postseason?
Yeah, it's going to be... Brady's going to do...
That might be an experience thing.
Yeah, Brady knows, he's like, I can half-ass it, you know. I'm in a terrible division, I can half-ass it to the playoffs, and then go hard in the playoffs.
And, like, That I'm not even talking about that. That might just be an experience thing with, like, Brady's been in the playoffs so many times, he knows what to do. Whereas, like, Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott don't make it to the playoffs, so once they get there, they're like, I got nothing left in the tank. What the fuck happens now?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
I didn't
expect to get this far.
I was playing for December, not for February. What's going on? I do want to talk about the draft order real quick.
Okay.
So, pick number 1. This is post-week 13, assuming that not a lot changes with the Saints.
Bucs Saints
game. So, the Texans have the first overall pick. Now...
They deserve it.
Okay, well, yeah, there's that. But I don't think they're going to take C.J. Stroud because there was a report that came out about the NFL scouts that were in attendance at the Ohio State-Michigan game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Houston was not on that list. And you would think that his last home game,
they would be wanting to know.
You would want to go there and make sure shit's on the up and up.
This makes me think that either Houston knows for a fact who they want as their who their first draft is.
Yeah.
Or they just, for some reason, don't like C.J. Stroud.
Both are possible.
Yeah. But I think it's definitely like they know who they're going for.
Who do you think it is?
If Stetson Bennett goes in, him.
Really?
I mean...
I don't think the Texans are willing to wait the year or two that it's going to take to sit him and get him adjusted, especially because he's already 25.
That's true. Honestly, the best place for Stetson Bennett to go is somewhere with a decent quarterback that he can just sit under for a year or two, and then he will pop off as soon as he can. Like, if for some reason he goes to, like, I think even the Raiders, if he goes under Carr for a little bit, that'd be good.
Okay. You know what I would love to see? There are rumors circulating.
He goes to Green Bay or Tampa?
No. There are rumors circulating that Brady's going to come back to New England for a season after this.
Yeah.
To play with Belichick, retire a Patriot, all that.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Like, the theory is that he had weapons and a coach in New England.
Yeah.
And had a hatred for Belichick because of this, that, and the other thing. So he went to Tampa. Now he's playing a season where he has weapons and is losing.
Yeah.
Because his coaching is terrible.
Coaching is not great.
So there's the rumor mill is circulating that he's going to go back to New England and play with Belichick again. I would love to see Stetson Bennett go sit under Brady for that year.
Stetson Bennett will be him on his first year.
Sit under Brady for that year?
If he sits under Brady for a year and then starts with the Patriots...
With Belichick as a coach?
He will be him. It's not going to be any more Josh Allen, Burrow, Mahomes. It's going to be Bennett.
Okay, so this is new. Let me make sure this is... I mean, that's the correct record. But... Okay, yeah, this is correct. The Bears now have the number 2 pick.
Who's the... Justin Fields?
Yeah, they don't need a quarterback, so they're going to take somebody else. Just... I don't know, really... Oh, there's that one defensive lineman on Georgia.
Oh my god, did you see him?
Yes.
Just pick him up. He's just like, we're done, guys. We got him. That'd be a great pick.
Massive respect to that man, because that man is huge, and that quarterback was fucking tiny. He could have slammed him down and ended his career.
Yeah, he could have put the worst pain on that man, but instead he did the gentleman thing of just picking him up. He's like, no more forward momentum. Okay, we're done here.
So I could see them taking him. I could see them taking somebody that we just don't know the name of.
Yeah. Ohio State's running back is really good. I think
they have Nick Chubb.
Never mind.
They have apparently the RB6. So I don't think they really need...
And they have second pick?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Did they have it from somebody?
I don't think so, because this shows who...
Huh.
Like, the next one is the Seahawks via the Broncos from the Russ trade. So, I think...
But anyway, the Seahawks get, they might be a rad team next year.
Geno has been balling out, so I don't think they're taking a quarterback either.
No, but I think if they get a good receiver running back, like
unless
a weapon.
I don't know how old Geno is. Because I
mean,
know he played on the Jets before he played on the Seahawks.
That's my thing. Is like I feel like in the NFL we're getting to the point where if you're a quarterback, your age kind of starts not mattering now.
Well, there's that. But I don't know. That might just be like a Brady and Rodgers thing. Because
maybe, but
Breeze retired already.
Yeah,
so that might have been like a thing where it was like, yeah, these two did it, but they're the two.
Yeah, like we need to calm down after that.
It also might be like...
How old is Big Ben when he retired?
Not as old.
No?
I know he looks old. I think he was the same draft class as Rodgers, actually.
That guy looks old.
Yeah, there's that too. So I don't know. The Seahawks might take a quarterback, but if they do, I don't think they're taking one of the top guys.
Yeah, they're going to take somebody they can...
I think they might take, I know Florida's QB 1 and 2 declared for the draft. So they might take someone like that where they can build them up a little and
somebody with decent
see what's
skill.
what. Yeah. The Lions have the 4th pick from the Rams. I assume that's left over from the Goff-Stafford trade.
Maybe. But I don't think the Lions should focus on quarterback.
Really? You think Jared Goff has enough skill to get them where they need to be?
With other people on his
I mean, they're semi-decent this year, and he has some weapons. Jamal Williams is a great running back. It's another one of those
things where, you can pick a quarterback, but you're still going to have Goff in the first spot for a year or two.
What if they take... Okay, let's say the Texans are taking Bryce Young.
Okay.
What if the Lions take C.J. Stroud? I don't think C.J. Stroud needs to sit. I think he's ready to go.
I mean, first of all, I would love to see that. Because... Also, I guess he wouldn't have to go that far either, would he?
No.
Ohio to Michigan?
Yeah. Or Michigan's QB if he declares.
Listen, if they have Michigan, I'm going to say this very apprehensively.
I could see if Blake Corum declares for the draft, I could see the Lions taking Blake Corum.
I could see that.
Get the hometown guy.
But if Michigan's quarterback goes up for draft, I'm positive the Lions take him. Mm-hmm. Just because of that whole hometown bring him up thing.
Yeah.
But
granted, that happened with
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That didn't
work out well. So it's one of those things where I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, but recent memory serves that that's not a great thing to do all the time.
However, the Panthers have the 5th pick, and I definitely think they take a QB.
Yes.
Or they decide to still run we're going to try backup quarterbacks until something works.
Just gonna keep swapping them out.
Yeah, pretty much. Whatever. Do you have any ideas on who they take? Stetson Bennett, Hendon Hooker, somebody who's left?
I mean, is Hendon Hooker going into the draft?
I think he has to. I don't think he has another year.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But I think he's also definitely injured.
Well, there's that, but...
And I don't know how bad...
I mean, he tore his ACL.
Oh.
I think he can...
He'll be fine by whatever time.
Even if he's not fine, I think he's workable.
Okay, I can see that.
I think it's something where you could have Baker Mayfield start the first 3-4 games of the season,
and just have
Hooker
start working it up.
Yeah,
I can see that.
The Eagles have the 6th overall pick via the Saints. Who did they trade to the Saints, or how did that go?
I don't even know.
Me neither. But regardless,
I'm just trying to think about who the Saints have now that would have been worthwhile. Because the Saints aren't a great team.
Did they get Andy Dalton from the Eagles?
That's what I was thinking.
Because I don't know where he was before. I know he was on the Bengals at one point.
I feel like Andy Dalton's been a lot of places.
I know he started on the Bengals. And his star was on the Bengals. But regardless. What do you think the Eagles take? Defense? Something defense?
I guess. The Eagles are just a solid team.
Maybe a running back?
That's what I would probably
Miles Sanders isn't great.
I think if they have if they can keep the level of skill they have now,
mm-hmm.
and then just add one of these top picks like they should have,
mm-hmm.
it's gonna be rough next year for everybody else.
So we need to hope that the Bucks beat the Saints, so that the Eagles move up.
Yeah,
I think they will move up. I think they'll be above Carolina then. And then Jacksonville has the 7th pick. Do you think Jacksonville is going to stick with Trevor Lawrence for a while?
I mean, it's another one of those things where it's like, who else? Jacksonville's just not a great team all around.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is at least halfway
Other
decent.
than Etienne.
Yeah, Etienne's good. But, other than that, he's halfway good, so until you have something else to build around him, unless they want to do a complete overhaul and just start with a
They're a young enough team that I think they're in a complete overhaul.
Yeah. Then I could definitely see them just taking a new quarterback and being like, sorry, bud, you didn't do it for us, and just kick him out.
Maybe. Real quick, I know this was a couple games ago. What is the Jaguars mascot? Did you see that?
Jaguar?
Yeah. Did you see that clip of him in a Speedo?
No.
Somebody shaved the Jaguars mascot. Normally he wears the full Jaguar suit with the teal jersey on.
Okay.
He was wearing the Jaguar head and had his body painted like he was SpongeBob wearing an American flag Speedo.
Dear God. No, I didn't see that.
It was bad. I just needed that to be...
I had no idea. That sounds terrible.
The Cardinals have the 8th pick. Do you think they stick with Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I can see them sticking with Kyler Murray.
Okay.
He's not terrible.
This is one that I do want to talk about, the Colts. I think Matt Ryan retires after this year, especially after that game.
Yeah, that game was embarrassment. I think Matt Ryan can be done, and he'd be looked at with at least decent eyes.
I think the biggest blemish on Matt Ryan's record... Okay, I know the biggest blemish on Matt Ryan's record is 28-3.
Yeah.
But he can continue his career for years, and he's never going to live down 28-3.
No.
He was on the Manning cast at one point, and the Manning brothers said to him, like, what's the thing you always get asked in public or said to in public? And he goes, anytime I go to New England, anybody recognizes me, they immediately say 28-3.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you're not living that, like, you're going to have to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't have the skill, the surroundings, the weapons. You don't have enough utility.
I think Matt Ryan needs to be done.
Yeah.
And call it a day where it is.
Yeah.
He was a decent quarterback that just... And, like...
You played Brady.
I'm going to be honest with you. That's not really Matt Ryan's fault.
No, it's... You played Brady and Belichick. You played the Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. It just
That's
happens.
rough.
It happens to everybody. Unless you're Eli Manning, it happens to everybody.
Or Nick Foles.
Yeah. It just happens.
Whatever. Regardless, the 10th pick is the Falcons. I think they get rid of. I think they could get rid of Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, he's not. Again, just a halfway decent. Like, he's there.
Yeah,
he's a name.
He exists.
Yeah.
Or do you think they take?
The South Division just kind of blows, doesn't it?
Yeah. 3 of the 4 are in the top 10 picks. Or for the NFC South, anyways. So, we think they take a quarterback?
I can see them taking a quarterback. But I don't know who's going to be...
left?
Available, yeah.
I think the Texans are taking a quarterback. I think the Lions could, maybe. I think the Panthers could, probably. I think the Jags might, and I think the Colts will.
I still think they'll have a decent pick.
I mean, they won't have Stetson Bennett, Hendon Hooker, Bryce Young, or C.J. Stroud.
But they'll have a decent.
They'll have something.
Yeah.
FSU's quarterback still has one more year.
Yes, at least one.
Is that until he can declare, or is that like maximum he has one more year?
I think until he can declare.
Okay, so he's a sophomore.
He might be a junior now, but like
if he's a junior, then he can declare. If he's a junior or a sophomore that redshirted, he can declare. If he's a true sophomore, then he has to stay.
You got me here. I think he might be a junior then.
Okay.
I'm not positive, but he still has at least a year or two, depending on how they want to set this up for him.
Jordan Travis is cool. Me too. Nope, I don't get to know. Well, Florida State just signed a new quarterback, AJ Duffy.
Yeah, he was meant to go to Ohio State, actually. They flipped him.
Was he really?
Yes, that was a big thing. Florida State is getting a lot of crazy good...
Jordan Travis is a redshirt junior, so he can definitely declare.
Okay, but he has, another year?
He can play another year, but...
I think he will play another year.
Okay, you think he's going to try and
100%.
Ride the waves and not go up against CJ Stroud?
Yeah, I think 100. Like
okay, that confuses me because the way the draft works right now is the worst teams get
the best
picks.
Yeah.
So if I'm Jordan Travis and I know that there are at least 4 guys, there are at least 3, maybe 4 guys who are going to be ahead of me.
Yeah.
In Hendon Hooker, Stetson Bennett, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud. Then I'm looking at it like, that means I get a pretty middle of the pack team or a team who just had a down year like the Bucs to pick me.
The only thing is, he's definitely looking like they might get somewhere next year.
Oh, like FSU?
Yeah. The FSU is definitely building up to where they might mess around and get a top 10 spot. And if you can end in a top... Like, just being able to say, yeah, my team was top 10 when I finished. Because not to mention there's the guy they flipped from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think he gets drafted. He gets his year under Travis. That way, 2 years from now...
You mean gets committed?
Yeah. So, like, he gets that little bit of time. And also there was this thing where one of the top running backs in the nation, I think he's number 2.
Oh, is this the video that I sent you?
I don't know. But
where he was committing and he put on like the Clemson hat and some shit and then took it off and was like, nah.
No. This was it was a different guy. He committed somewhere else already.
Okay.
But he posted on his Instagram a picture of him in Dalvin Cook's uniform, which is Florida State's old running back. And it's like sent pictures of him in Florida State uniforms. And then it got taken down like immediately. Mm-hmm. Which makes it look like he's going to mess around and go to Florida State, but Florida State doesn't want to know that yet.
No, the video I sent you, I think it might have been like the number one wide receiver in the nation.
In high school, yeah.
In high school. And he like put on the Clemson hat and then took it off and was like, nah, this one's not for me. And then he put on like the Ohio State hat and he took it off and like, nah, this one's not for me. And he uncovered under like a black sheet the FSU hat and put it on and said, like, this is the one.
Listen, next year I think is going to be our next like possibility at a national championship.
Like 2014? 13?
2013 was the last win was 2013, last time was 2014.
Okay.
That's how that happened.
Okay.
But I mean, the seasons.
Yeah.
You know how the national championships next year. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
But I can definitely see us getting somewhere next year. Dominoes are falling where it looks like we might get somewhere.
That was a thing, I think, I was watching that video online and it was like, right now, there are two teams that can win the national championship.
Yeah.
Michigan and Georgia. However, there are teams like Ohio State and Alabama and Florida and FSU where if they get the right combination of players and the right coach all at the same time, they're never far away from a national championship.
Yeah. That's why I'm really glad we're going to this 12 seed championship.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much more fun to watch.
Agreed.
Instead of just like, oh, here's
the best four teams.
The best four, like,
here's the best four teams, and only two of them are the best teams.
Matter.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna have like, hey, here's the top 12 teams, and we know like there's two teams who are really good. We have these 10 teams that are pretty much on the same level. Mm-hmm. We're actually gonna get to see a playoff where there's gonna be competition.
Some shit might happen too.
We're not like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. Like we can see some competition where like this team that's been undervalued all year has a shot. You know, like Penn State has not been anywhere near the conversation, but they're 8th now, I think.
I don't know if they still are. I know they were last week. But I only paid attention to the top 6 this week. I'm going to keep it real with you. But
like, there's the top 12 teams right now. There's some teams that were not in the conversation for college football playoffs. Mm-hmm. That in 2 years they would be, messed around with, and I can't wait for that.
Okay. Choose one or two.
2.
Okay, we're going to games first.
Okay, cool.
There was no rhyme or reason as to why to do either, so.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Of these 4 picks, what do you want to talk about first? Do you have the notes up?
We can talk about the Callisto Protocol.
Okay, you want to talk about the Callisto Protocol? I'm very excited for the Callisto Protocol.
It looks very pretty and very fun.
It looks very pretty, and it reminds me a lot of Death Stranding.
Death Stranding?
Which is a game that I love.
It reminds me a lot of Doom.
Okay. If it's a perfect mixture of the two, I'll be very happy.
An amazing game.
I would be a very happy man if it were those two together. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say about it because it's not out yet.
Yeah, we have a teaser, we don't have a trailer. Right?
Yeah.
But it looks it looks clean, it looks like it's going to be fun. I can't wait for it.
Midnight Suns, however, is out. It just came out recently.
Is it exclusive?
I don't think so.
I know Marvel games pick and choose when they want to be exclusives.
Yeah. It's Wolverine. Okay, the Midnight Suns lineup is Wolverine, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, Daredevil, I think, some other like morally gray characters.
Yeah, all the characters are like, we don't really know where they lie. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes Deadpool I think is in it. But
Punisher?
What?
Punisher?
Maybe. It's been a minute since I read Midnight Suns anything.
I love those characters. My favorite Marvel character is the Punisher, followed by Wolverine. Just those kind of like
that's
morally gray.
Interesting pick.
I love those characters. Like it's not like Captain America. Guess what? He's a good guy, and he just stands up for everything that's right.
Okay, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but after you brought that up, I have to.
Yeah.
One of my favorite panel series in all of comics. It's in a Punisher issue, and these 2 cops stop the Punisher walking down the street and ask for a picture with him and an autograph and everything, and he sees the Punisher logo on the back of their squad car, and he grabs the 2 cops and shoves them up against their squad car and says, you take that off. If you want a role model to look up to, you have Captain America. I do what I do because you guys can't. And I love it.
I love that character. Did you like the original movie?
I didn't love it. That also falls under my tier of there is no such thing as a bad superhero movie because it's a superhero movie.
I love that movie so much. It was filmed in Tampa.
Okay.
And I love John Travolta.
Well, alright. I'm probably going to buy it and play it, so I'll have more maybe next week.
I might buy it and play it as well.
Okay.
It just looks like fun.
And then the last game we have to talk about is the new Zelda game that is coming out at some point. Tears of the Kingdom.
At some point. If it's half as good as Breath of the Wild, it's going to be
Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year, right?
If it didn't, it should have.
Okay.
I think 2019?
Probably.
Because God of War was 2018.
Yeah. And I know that one. Game of the Year.
Yeah. God of War definitely won 2018. I think Breath of the Wild won in 2019.
I'd love to tell you, but my phone doesn't want to cooperate.
I mean, of all teams, or of all games, Breath of the Wild definitely would have deserved it.
It was 2017.
It was that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. Was It Takes Two 2019 or 2020?
Well, now you're going to make me look it up. You're lucky this ties into what we're going to talk about in a minute.
It Takes Two was... I'll talk about that whenever you figure out what year it was, because I definitely know it won Game of the Year. I just don't know what year.
Give me a second.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, that's interesting. We're going to talk about that in a second. Actually, we'll talk about it now. I'm looking it up. Apparently, news coming to you live. There is a new Jedi...
Fallen Order?
Jedi was the name of the game. Fallen Order was like the subtitle.
Yeah.
So there's a
Jedi something
game that's going to have a trailer released at the Game Awards.
That should be fun.
I wholeheartedly agree. Okay. It looks like it started in 2014, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
With a gap in 2016. So 2014 was Dragon Age Inquisition. 2015 was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Makes sense.
2017 was Breath of the Wild.
Makes sense.
2018 was God of War.
Mm-hmm.
There was none in 2019. The Last of Us Part 2 was 2020. And It Takes Two was 2021.
Alright. All of those make sense.
I've never played Dragon Age Inquisition. That's the only one.
That was the only other than that. I've never even heard of that.
I've heard of it. But I think I own it, actually, but I've never played it.
The reason I like It Takes Two is because it's just different. You know, like all those other games, you have these action RPG shoot, like whatever.
Yeah.
Did you play It Takes Two?
No.
I did. It's so much fun. It's just different, and it's fun, it's co-op, and it's just... Art style's great, the story's great. Just an all-around cohesive great game. And it's just different.
There are 3 games in my mind that I cannot differentiate between the 3. It is Prison Break,
okay,
It Takes Two, and Unravel. All 3 of those games might as well be the same game, just with them. Like, I know Prison Break is the one that's in a prison, and I know Unravel is the one with yarn people. Other than that, you could tell me anything about those 3 games, and I can't place what's on which one.
Well, I'm going to say It Takes Two deserves that win.
Okay.
But this year, it's...
Probably Elden Ring. If not, it's Ragnarok. It would be great, because this would apparently be the first time that a series has won it twice.
If Ragnarok wins?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should be getting that
Christmas?
around Christmas, yeah.
However, there's no way it's not Elden Ring.
No, I can't... If it's not Elden Ring, there's going to be just a mob in the community.
Probably. I don't like Elden Ring. I played it. I'm not a fan.
No?
Nope.
I never played it.
And then, so let's talk about the Game Awards here, now that we're on the subject. We've already gone over Game of the Year. I think that was episode 1.
Yeah.
A lot of these other ones are like, to have Game of the Year, you have to have these.
Yeah, so. It always sucks. It's the same way with like movies.
I don't have an issue with it really, because it's like, yeah, if you're the Game of the Year,
you probably have the best music, the best visuals, the best style. Like, it just makes sense.
So I don't have a problem with it, but it is what it is. Best ongoing I want to talk about.
All right.
Our nominees are Apex Legends.
Okay.
Destiny 2.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
Fortnite and Genshin Impact.
So, this is best ongoing, right?
Yes.
It's not Destiny 2.
No.
And I don't think it's a Final Fantasy either.
No.
And I like Apex. It's not going to be Apex either. This is a Genshin Fortnite competition.
I don't even think it's I think this is a Genshin Fortnite competition in the same way that the national championship is a Georgia-Michigan competition.
Fortnite wins this.
Yeah.
Period.
Like, Michigan has a Hail Mary's chance in hell. Genshin Impact has a Hail Mary's chance in hell.
I mean, as much as everybody wants to not admit it,
yeah,
everybody plays like, even if you don't, you know somebody who like cyclically goes back to this game, because every so often you'll see that trailer, you'll be like, oh, that looks interesting, and you just download it again, see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100%. Why it's best ongoing. All these other games have a following that consistently plays it. I mean, I'm sure Apex has the same thing, kind of, but probably. Definitely not to the degree that Fortnite
But not, has. Yeah. Apex also doesn't do as much marketing as Fortnite. Like,
Apex
Fortnite releases their trailers, like, on TV and shit.
Like, it's like a movie.
Yeah.
All those other games know their community.
And Fortnite has,
go to their community.
Deals and shit, where they, like, release the Marvel superheroes as skins, or Batman as skins, and shit like that.
It's Fortnite by far. It's not even close. Yeah.
Content creator of the year. You got Carl Jacobs, Ludwig, Nibelian, Nobrew, and Cutie Cinderella.
I have no idea about Nibelian and Nobrew. I don't know who those are.
Me neither. But I hope it's not Carl Jacobs.
I don't either, because I feel like that's just a Mr. Beast win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, and I get he has an insane stan culture, like to another level.
Yeah, but also, if it's gonna be a Mr. Beast win, it should be a Mr. Beast win.
It should be Technoblade.
Well, there's that.
It should just give he deserves it. He did a lot for the community. But whatever.
I could see him getting it next year.
Yeah, I definitely see him getting the honorary,
I could see it being, a thing where it was, we had the nominees before he died this year.
Yeah.
He gets it next. He's the nominee next year.
But of the people that are on this list, I think it should be Ludwig.
I agree.
He's just, all around, he has diverse content. He does a lot of things. He just did a second, the subathon was a big deal. Mm-hmm. He just did a second one.
Jesus.
Where he's, locked in a glass cube for 50 hours. When you put that much commitment on the line for just to be there for your community, he deserves it. There's no way he doesn't get this.
I will say, I find it entertaining that there's a 40% chance that this goes to a household.
Yeah.
Because Cutie Cinderella and Ludwig are both nominated.
Yeah. And, there's a decent chance it just goes to them, period.
Yeah. But I hope it's Ludwig.
Same. Yeah. And if it's not Ludwig, I just hope it's not Carl Jacobs.
Agreed.
But I know, that stan culture he has following him is going to be so massive.
This is one I want to talk about because I was looking at it, and I'm upset that a certain game is omitted here. Best esports game, you have CSGO, Dota 2, League of Legends, Rocket League, and Valorant.
The thing about this list is it's
it has been those first 4 games for God knows how. It's probably since the beginning of the Game Awards.
Esports.
And then Valorant.
Yeah, which is
it's not
CSGO
here? Overwatch 2.
Which
should
I think definitely deserves at least to be nominated.
Yeah.
And, I mean, listen, this should be a Valorant award just because it's not... Those same 4 games have been what people have been doing esports for a decade. Valorant should get this. And honestly, if Overwatch 2 is here, they should probably win it just because it's fresh.
Well, Overwatch 2 is more fresh. I mean, as much as I love Overwatch 2, it's a reskin of Overwatch. But it's still more new and being updated, unlike CSGO, Rocket League. I don't know. I don't know anything about Dota, so I can't speak on that one. But
in my mind, Dota is literally
League of Legends Light.
Yeah, it's it's prehistoric to me because it's just it's always been there in my mind. The same way World of Warcraft, it's always been there.
And then the one that Overwatch 2 is nominated for, which I feel like is kind of like a fuck you to Blizzard. It's best multiplayer. So you have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Multiverses, Splatoon 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and Overwatch 2. So in my mind, it's we didn't want Overwatch 2 in the best esports game.
So we're just going to throw in
best multiplayer. We're going to throw in best multiplayer where they're going to get steamrolled by COD.
Yeah. Guess what? Modern Warfare 2 is going to win so far over all... Have you heard anybody say the word Splatoon to you in the past year?
No.
No.
Other than, like, I've seen a couple of the trailers for Splatoon 3.
I didn't know Splatoon 3 was happening until we were recording. Until we, like, going over notes, mm-hmm. I didn't know.
I don't enjoy it. It upsets me that, like, you're gonna give Overwatch 2 this nod.
Against where they're definitely gonna lose.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, you threw them in there with 3 terrible picks, and then the clear winner.
Yeah. So, yeah. The most anticipated game, Final Fantasy 16, which confuses me because wasn't Final Fantasy 14 one of the best ongoings?
We just skipped 15?
Apparently. Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
Resi 4, Starfield, and Tears of the Kingdom.
Resident Evil 4, I assume, is
It's a remake.
Remake? That's one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm definitely not more hyped about it than Hogwarts Legacy or
that's the one.
Tears of the
Kingdom. Hogwarts Legacy is far and away the one.
I feel like we've been waiting for this game though for forever.
I feel like I think the problem with that is that you and I are in the Harry Potter culture.
Yeah.
And there were rumors of a Harry Potter game.
Yeah.
So it feels like we've been waiting for this for forever, but we've really only been waiting for Hogwarts Legacy for
like we've only known it was this game for a while. Yeah.
And even that year and a half, we've only had 6 to 9 months of like trailers and info on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. We've known there was a game in the shadows for a while.
Yeah, there was a game happening. But we didn't know what.
But I think it's going to be Tears of the Kingdom's going to win this one out.
Okay.
Just because of the overwhelming success of Breath of the Wild, mm-hmm. I think Tears of the Kingdom's going to win this category.
I want to talk about this just because I didn't know this was a category. Best adaptation.
What do you...
Now, the way I thought that was it going to be like a book or a movie or something that was made into a game?
Yeah.
Where it was like Hogwarts Legacy or Midnight Suns, something like that, right? No, it's the best video game movie or show.
Oh.
So you have Arcane League of Legends, which is a League anime. Cyberpunk Edge Runners, I don't know what that is.
It's an anime.
The Cuphead show, which is on Cuphead, obviously. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted.
It should be Sonic 2.
I agree.
But these weebs are going to take over with these anime picks.
That's the... I don't know, honestly, because you have 2 animes, the Cuphead show, and then 2 AAA movies. Yeah.
And Sonic 2 was the better movie out of those 2.
However,
Tom Holland.
Uncharted has some names behind it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Sonic has some names behind it. Namely Jim Carrey.
Yeah, other than Jim Carrey?
Listen, if you hadn't just asked me, I'd know the name of the voice actor for Sonic, but now I don't. That's how
likely
this works.
Story.
No, but I think this depends on how much it is, like... If this was a broad pop culture thing...
Yeah.
Uncharted 2. But I think because it's Uncharted. And I think because it's a gaming culture thing, it's gonna be Sonic 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like,
Agreed.
because this is a populist vote. I think if it was like hey, generic people, which do you like? Uncharted.
The other thing I have to say about this is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 feels a lot more like the video game. Uncharted feels
like an action movie.
Like an action movie.
Yeah. Sonic 2 feels like you're like you're just watching it happen.
Agreed.
They do such a good job making it feel like the game.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of...
Were you there when we went to see Sonic 2?
Yes. I definitely saw it in theaters.
Okay. You would know if you were there, because we went to see Sonic 2, and we were the only ones in the theater.
Then I might have watched it opening. I might have watched it with my cousins.
Okay.
I don't know.
I went to see it with, I think, Jess, I think JB, I think Hunter.
Did I watch it with you?
I don't know, but we were the only people in that theater, and we could it was like we were watching a movie at home where we could talk about it.
I love that so. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite things is going to a theater and just being empty.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
It was like we could talk about the movie while we were watching it in the theater, and it was great.
But speaking of video game movies,
mm-hmm.
the Mario movie. So hold on, okay. Clearly, by that you have some negative feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say what I love about it before you go off, okay?
I'm not going to go off. I just have concerns.
Oh, yes. I have... Anytime a video game movie comes out, I have concerns.
Especially with the name Mario attached to it.
The animation is beautiful.
Accurate.
And the voice work for a lot of them is great. Like Bowser's voice work.
Keyword, a lot of them.
Not all. I'm going to be very clear. There are some exceptions to this statement, but a lot of them have great voice work. Like, it's Jack Black as Bowser, I think.
Yeah.
And, like, if you hadn't told me it was Jack Black, no, because Jack Black's voice is so, like, iconic, you know it's Jack Black. But it's the movie does such a good job.
Who has a really iconic voice and the movie doesn't do a really good job of telling you that it's not them?
Chris Pratt?
Yeah. Because it doesn't sound like Mario. It sounds like Chris Pratt.
Seth Rogen? Or, no. Seth Rogen, yeah?
Yeah.
He plays Donkey. He's going to play Donkey Kong.
I believe so, yes.
But, like, had you not told me that it was Jack Black playing Bowser, I would have known. But now that you tell me, I can hear that little hint of it. And I love it.
I'm scared about Mario's voice. Because it's Chris Pratt.
It's Chris Pratt, yeah.
And let's just say that Mario movies have a history, and it's not a good one.
It's not a great history. Also, I like the trailer. The animation's great. Jordan Peele, I think, is Toad. I don't know.
Sure. Whatever you say.
In the trailer, Mario falls in the Mushroom Kingdom. He meets Toad. And he says, "Mushroom Kingdom, here we go." But it's so close to him saying "let's go" that it bothers me so much.
That might be a thing, like
it's in the trailer they mess it up, but in the movie it's gonna be correct.
They did it with Ragnarok, the Thor Ragnarok trailer.
Yeah.
When Thor lands on the bridge, he has both of his eyes.
Oh, true. And then the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, they do things like that where like
they edit the trailer a little bit. That way when the movie comes out, you're like, oh my god, it's actually what they want. I hope so, because if I watch that movie and he says, "Here we go," I'm going to be upset.
And there's a scene in the Endgame, one of the Endgame trailers, where you see Mjolnir hit off of Thanos' head, and they show Mjolnir fly back, but they don't show who catches it, because obviously it ends up being Cap.
One of the best scenes in Marvel history, by the way.
Hard agree.
It's not even close.
Followed very closely by the scene that follows that very closely, where Thor says, "I knew it."
Yeah, I knew it. I love that.
We could have a whole just episode on our favorite scenes in Marvel.
I'm sure we can have 30 minutes on that scene in Endgame. Just like
probably
the battle scene, we could talk for
Speaking
forever.
of which, you've got me here. Now I have to go off.
Okay.
Speaking of which, does it upset you that Thor never shrank back down into Love and Thunder?
Like, in like an Endgame, he didn't lose weight. No.
It upsets me.
You think he should have got the hammer and just became skinny again?
I think what should have happened... You know the scene in the original Thor, after he gets hit by the Destroyer, he holds his arm up in the... Like, he's down on the ground and Jane's like, "Oh no, what happened?" And then he holds his arm up in the air and he summons Mjolnir because he's finally worthy again.
And then he gets the...
And the armor like comes down his arm and everything.
That's a great scene, by the way.
Yeah, agreed.
The individual...
The plates come down his arm and you can see the lightning swirling and everything, and the cape fucking forms down his back. Everything's great. I think when him, Tony, and Cap are all at the top of the Avengers Mansion after it gets blown up, and he holds both his arms out, and Stormbreaker flies to one and Mjolnir flies to the other, and his eyes swirl with thunder and his hair braids itself, I think he should have shrunk back down and the armor should have plated down his chest, and he should have been like, "Alright, let's do this."
I can see that.
And it would have been a nice callback to Thor 1.
It would have. But I can definitely see why they feel the need to make him work to recover.
Okay.
Because the reason he gets that way is because the emotional trauma. Mm-hmm. Like, he starts giving up. And so I understand why they don't want to fix it like that.
Yes, to
a point. They
would
want to work it up.
But he's also a god.
He is also a god.
So you gotta throw that out there. Speaking of which, Loki Season 2 should be coming up some point.
Yes.
And
I'm ready for another Marvel thing that I'm excited for, because it's kind of...
Did you watch the Guardians Holiday Special?
I did not. Okay,
well, it's out if you would like to watch it.
I watched Wakanda Forever, and it was...
Okay.
It was okay.
I might wait until it's on Disney+.
I mean, it's... Clearly
if you
you're
say
gonna have
it's
a hard
okay,
time.
I might wait until it's on Disney+.
Clearly you're going to have a hard time living up to that expectation without having Chadwick Boseman. So... Because he is the undisputable star of the first movie. Other than Michael B. Jordan. But clearly Michael B. Jordan's not in it, and clearly Chadwick Boseman's not in it.
Well,
I mean... Anyway.
Yeah.
They're not in it. They're not in it, like, actually.
Yeah,
they're not
in it?
Yeah.
Flashback pictures, shit like that.
Kind of things.
Okay.
And so...
That was the biggest... I'll talk about that in a minute.
And so, like, it's good. Like, I'm not going to say it's bad. It was a good movie. It was fun. It felt like Marvel. It felt like a Black Panther movie. And they did a rather decent job of introducing Namor and the...
Atlanteans?
They don't call them that, but yes.
Okay. Well, they call them that in the comics. I don't know what they call them in the movie. I don't know.
But yeah, that whole... They do a great job of introducing that. It's a fun movie, but it's just... It's difficult without your main character, you know?
Okay. I will now talk about this because, once again, you got me here, so now I have to go off about it. The first Fantastic Beasts movie, Zoe Kravitz... Well, okay, the second Fantastic Beasts movie, Zoe Kravitz plays Lita Lestrange. In the first Fantastic Beasts movie, she is credited as Lita Lestrange. So people who search through the IMDb and shit and find, like, these secrets, so it's like, this person's going to be in the movie, watch out because this could be a big plot point.
Yeah.
Found that Lita Lestrange was going to be in the movie. And are like, this is a big plot point. That's because she's in a picture in Newt's case.
Really?
And they have to credit her by rules of, like...
I love that.
So it's like...
Screen Actors Guild or whatever?
Yeah. So it's like, yep, she's in the movie.
But
not really.
Yeah.
This seems like a perfect time to transfer to movies, even though we've already transferred to movies. Which one do you want to talk about first? Take your pick.
I am so excited for Violent Night.
Okay.
Dude.
Are we going to see it this week?
Probably.
Okay, so next week we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Violent Night is this John Wick Christmas movie type thing, and I cannot...
And I love the actor who's playing Santa.
Oh, yes. It just looks so, like... For those who don't know, it's a John Wick style movie with Santa as the main character.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to deliver presents, and these terrorists or whatever have, like, kidnapped or holding hostage a rich family.
Yeah.
And Santa goes on a murder spree trying to save this family. And it just looks so much fun.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. You don't like John Wick and you're excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
You're double excited?
Yes. I'm like, I love these kind of like just watch
slash.
Yeah. I love these kind of movies. I love John Wick's movies. And I'm going to love this movie. I can tell. It's just... Especially with the whole Christmas...
Yeah, that's thing. What I'm excited about is the juxtaposition. Because most Christmas movies are like a happy-go-lucky or like extremely depressed.
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to have like an upbeat murder spree here.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so much fun.
I guess we'll just go down the list then. Avatar 2. You excited? You're not excited?
I'm not excited.
You're not excited?
I'm not... It's... I think it's being way overhyped.
Okay, well, it has to make $2 billion to break even. So, yeah it's being overhyped.
I think it's going to be... The only reason people are going to see it is because it's been however long since the first
15 years-ish?
Just forever. Like, the same reason people went and saw Incredibles 2. Is because the first one was...
that also had Pixar behind it.
And Incredibles is one of the best movies.
Yeah.
Ever. Because
I think that Avatar has gained enough of a cult... Like, a lot of people hated Avatar when it came out.
But the cult following has grown so much.
Yeah.
I think their business plan is going to work this time.
And not next time.
But if they take another 12, 15 years
I don't think that's their business plan. I think that was people hated Avatar on release, and James Cameron was like, well, I made this Lord of the Rings trilogy that was great, and people loved it, and then I made this Avatar thing and people hated it, so we're not going to do the rest of those.
And then people started loving it.
And then Disney was like, but we are.
So now we're in a position where it looks like we're going to have multiple Avatar movies.
Yeah. And I think that they're all going to get...
You think it's going to be more correctly released where it's like 2 to 3 years?
Yeah. I think they're going to actually do them.
Dune's coming out next year? Next Dune? I don't know.
Sure. I watched the first one and it was boring as hell.
I didn't watch the first one for that reason.
I watched the first one because I looked at that cast and said, there's no way this movie can be bad.
There's no way this isn't going to be a bad movie. Dude.
There's no way it has Zendaya...
Josh
Brolin, Oscar Isaacs, Jason Momoa, and Timothy Chalamet, and is bad. And then it was.
It's very upsetting.
And I was like, that's rough, but okay.
Definitely one of those things where it's just like, you overbloated it. Like,
yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't see it for that reason. Because I didn't care about Dune before. I'm not going to care about it after. It's just... I hope that it has the problem of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Whereas, like, on release, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald
was a pretty bad movie.
Yeah.
Until you have The Secrets of Dumbledore to follow it up with.
You think it's going to be one of those things where it's like you need the whole story to
really
appreciate
like, if you sit down and watch The Crimes of Grindelwald, you're not going to be like, yeah, magic's pretty cool. I like that. You're going to be like, what just happened? So, I hope that Doom's like, you need the pieces that follow it to be good.
I can see that happening.
Because otherwise you just wasted a shitload of talent to make a mediocre series of movies.
Yeah.
And then the last movie here, which I'm very excited for, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
So, I am, what's the word?
Cautiously optimistic.
Thank you. Cautiously optimistic. Because Transformer movies are very iffy for me. Like,
really? I love them all.
I mean, I love Shia LaBeouf's ones. Mark Wahlberg's ones kind of like, were for me.
Mark Wahlberg's first one's my favorite one.
I like that one. The first one's good. But all the...
Age of Extinction is the one that you're not
it's
a fan
just like,
of?
and I didn't watch Bumblebee either.
Okay.
But this looks like another reset.
I don't know if it is. Because, like, Age of Extinction looked like a reset until it wasn't, and it was that they found the...
But I'm saying, like...
dinosaur beasts.
We don't have Wahlberg, right?
It might not be a reset. It might be a soft reboot like it was from Shia to... Wahlberg. I don't think it's like, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we're having a soft reboot where it's like kind of the same story.
New characters.
But new human characters.
Okay. Because, like, Wahlberg, the Battle of Chicago and everything actually happened.
Yeah.
It was just like, now Mark Wahlberg has the cars instead of Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cautiously optimistic. It could be fun. You know, and I'm gonna have to go into it with like, this is a Transformer movie. I don't need to care that much.
I like all the Transformers movies, so I'm excited.
I like Transformers a lot. Like,
you know what? There needs to be a really good Transformers video game.
Yes. Did you ever play the one? I played the one on the Wii.
Me too.
And it's a terrible game, but...
I mean, it was also on the Wii.
Yeah.
Most games that are on the Wii are like, we're not trying to be a really good game. We're trying to be a
Wii game.
A Wii game.
Yeah.
So...
unless you were made by Nintendo, it was not...
I want like a AAA...
Transformers.
I wouldn't even mind if it was an exclusive, but I want like a AAA Transformers game.
I think it would be fun. There's a lot of games a lot of movies...
that need to be made into games?
Yes.
Agreed.
I think they need to remake the SCP game.
The SCP game?
Yeah, do you ever play that?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The old cult game.
Yeah.
I only ever saw it on a laptop at my cousin's house. And then, like, obviously on YouTube.
Yeah.
But, like, a remake or, like, just something like that would be so
I think
fun.
there's going to be a Siren Head game. And he's loosely related to SCP.
I love, first of all, analog horror, that kind of, like, modern day, like, secret government kind of horror. Love that stuff. I eat that. I don't know. I just love it.
Okay.
And so to have a game, there was a Mandela Catalog. I don't know. There was a game that was released like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the Stanley Parables. I just love those kinds of things. Just that kind of like analog horror. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if
they need to do it again,
they need to do it bigger. Like, because right now analog horror is like a very niche internet thing.
Yeah. And
I'm saying this very cautiously.
To be fair, it has been for a while.
Yeah.
Like, before SCP, you had just creepypasta.
Yeah. And so... and, of course, it's everybody getting to be their own creative thing, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
And whenever you go to Hollywood or anything like that, the fun is drained from it.
Yeah.
So I'm very cautiously saying this, but I think if you could have that same amount of creativity that the internet can have and put it on a larger scale, like
what would you think about like an open source multiplayer style SCP game?
I would play it so
like
much.
Maybe like a Mario Maker style game where
I would play it. I love that kind of stuff. It would be so much fun. You just get to like build, like everybody gets to build their own SCP style like levels and you just go through it.
Yeah. Like you start in like a room with a laptop or something and you have to like choose each individual case.
Yeah. And
each individual case is made by somebody else.
I would have so much fun with that game.
I'm so glad I just came up with that idea. Somebody pay me.
Yeah. Royalties here. But what is it called? You know, the kind of series Black Mirror was.
Yeah.
What's the word for that?
Anthology.
An SCP semi-anthology series. I see semi because clearly it's all the same foundation, so you're gonna have like it's
I
in
would
the same
also
universe,
love where
but each episode's like about a different SCP.
I would love if it was like semi-anthology, or you thought it was.
Yeah.
Where it was like every SCP was different, but then like the last 2, 3, 4 episodes, it all came together. Like
there's the meltdown where everything opens up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, we're in a bad place now.
Yeah.
I would watch it. I would like pay through a paywall to watch it. I would love it so much.
We should just make it.
Listen. Go pitch it. That would be so much fun.
All right. I don't think I have anything else. You got anything else?
USA's out of the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
But
they got...
Netherlands beat them, whatever.
We were going to talk about last week how we had won the group, or we had advanced through the group stage.
But now it doesn't matter.
And then we didn't advance through the round of 16.
But the fact that we got through the group stage makes me happy. I wish we could have got further. Whatever. It's soccer. I don't care.
Next 4 years are our year.
Yeah.
Whenever this thing is again...
2026, woo!
On the bright side, we auto-qualify for the next one, because it's...
Because we got through the...
No, because...
Oh, it's in America.
It's in United States, Canada, Mexico. It's like a united thing? Yeah. I don't know.
It's here, so we get to be in it.
Yeah, we auto-qualified the same way Qatar did. And they
got stopped.
Hopefully we don't have the same fate as Qatar.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's all we have for today.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yep. Have a good one, everybody.